Hi everyone, this is a follow-up video to a video that I released a week or so ago, and it's the one where the cyclist came through the junction and was struck by my viewer. Now, everyone said and agreed with me that the viewer wasn't to blame. But did the cyclist actually jump the red lights? Well, in this video, I'm going to explore that a little bit more. There were many very good comments that came from me posting this video. I do try and read every single one, but as you can imagine, it's impossible with the size of the channel nowadays, but I did get to a majority of them, I think. Doesn't mean that I agree with all the comments, but this is what we're going to deal with in today's video. The main thing that did come from the comment section was seeing things from the perspective of the cyclist. Now, it wasn't something that I actually considered too much, and I hold my hands up for that, and maybe I need to do that more. However, there was a strong message that I did want to get across with the video, and it did come across as I intended. But now I think it's only fair to have a look at things from the cyclist perspective, where they came from and what they were seeing.
So let's have a look at the original clip again first. This street's called York Place in Edinburgh, and a cyclist comes from the road on the right at the lights. And even with me telling you, they're difficult to spot. The cyclist was injured, but thankfully not too badly. So let's now try and work out why they proceeded through the lights when it obviously wasn't their turn to go. This is the Google Maps view from the direction in which the cyclist was travelling from, and this is Leith Street. It's likely that the cyclist was using a cycle area on the right, but as you can see further up, there is interruptions to this cycle area due to the roadworks. But for now, they've got to mix it with the traffic. The signs are pretty clear, although it's not guaranteed that the cyclist could see them. Maybe a large vehicle was blocking them, but the road markings are also not too bad. It's pretty obvious to whatever vehicle that you're operating which lane's required to go ahead. So the lead up to the lights shouldn't cause many problems for anyone. The lights, however, are a different matter altogether. We have 3 lanes going in 3 different directions, and they can go at different times also. And what we see in this clip with the lights is exactly what the cyclist should have been looking for if they were going to proceed ahead. If we look at the first set on their own, they're not complicated. We can see the green straight on arrow that controls lane 2. But if we look at the junction as a whole, the second set are really confusing. Which traffic light over the far side would you expect now to be controlling lane 2? And the logical answer is the left. But that's not the case, it's the right. The left light is for the left turning lane. And when the lights do change for the left turning traffic, this is what we see. Do you think this would have caught you out? If we go back to the original footage, zoom in at quarter speed, you can actually see the cyclist stand on his pedals and start moving, and this is at the time where the cars start to turn to the left-hand side. Has this cyclist simply looked at that further light and gone when the green left arrow was on instead of the straight on? Well, it's a probable from me. There were a few comments saying the cyclist didn't have a light on. Well, this proves he did, but it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. So we've worked out the cyclist may have been confused because they were looking at the further light. But why did they miss the nearer one? Because that should have been on red. Well, this is my theory. The majority of road users, cyclists included, go too far forward at traffic lights, because generally most people feel as though that's going to give them the best head start. Rarely do people position so they can see all the lights they need to see, and this is the mistake that I think the cyclist made. If they'd have stopped here, it would have been impossible to see the first traffic light here. And if you're in that much of a rush, your observations will suffer. So it's quite possible that left arrow was assumed to be a straight on. Another massive mistake of the cyclist was not to see the vehicles that were already passing through the junction in front of my viewer. Surely that tells you it's not your time to go also. But I think they were missed because the cyclist was solely following the road markings. And we can see these comfortably on Google Maps. While we're here, I'd just like to point out the lack of room that the cycle lane gives other traffic coming past. That's probably one reason why the cyclist was rushing also. Lazy cycling infrastructure like this does no help to anyone in my opinion. In fact, I think it cons cyclists into thinking they're safe when they're actually not. Now, onto the planter. Whoever decided to put that thing there needs honestly sacking. End. You can actually see on Google Maps what the old tram stop used to be like. If that would have still been in place, I'm pretty sure the accident would have been less likely to happen. While I've paused the clip here, I'd also like to quickly talk about why I don't think the cyclists jumped the red on purpose, and it's because of their lack of observation. Any decent road user should be glancing in every direction when passing through a junction, not just looking in the direction of travel. And as you can see, this was a surprise.
So in summary, do I think that cyclists jump the red light on purpose? Well, for me it's a categoric no. In a funny way, I wish the cyclists had have jumped the lights on purpose, because then their observation level would have been much higher, and this incident or accident probably wouldn't have happened. If we really want the roads to be a better place, we cannot put blame and lay blame on infrastructure. We've got to make sure observations are key. And that's where I'm finishing this. Keep safe, everyone. I hope to see you soon.